Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Changes are coming. The question now is, could they limit opportunities for veterans? That is actually part of the headline on military.com. Wanted to share it with you here today. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. I really do appreciate all of you members so very much. Thank you very much for your support. If you want to be a member, you can go to the homepage. You'll see a highlighted member section with the join button. Thank you so much. All right, so let's jump into this. The headline here on military.com, let me see when this thing came out. This was August 29th, 2024, and I'm sharing it with you here today. So the headline is, changes to the SkillBridge job training program are coming. Could they limit opportunities for veterans? All right. Pentagon officials are rolling out changes to the popular SkillBridge job training program, hoping to land more veterans in full-time jobs and improve the learning experience. The first updates to the program in 5 years aim to connect active duty troops with safe, stable workplaces that offer a clear path to employment after they separate from the military. But concerns remain that the new rules could curb the number of companies that opt to participate in SkillBridge, as well as the number of service members who rely on the program as a post-military landing pad. Interesting. Let's see if they give us any nuggets here on what's going on. Moving on. Without the financial stability and professional growth that SkillBridge can offer, troops may find the difficult leap into civilian life even tougher. SkillBridge is a great program. We are much better with it than without it, says Ian Ishin, who retired from the Air Force as a Chief Master Sergeant in 2022, and he told that to military.com on Wednesday. I think some of these rules may have second and third order effects that may or may not have been thought through. SkillBridge, founded in 2011, offers troops the chance to spend the last 6 months of their military service in unpaid job training, apprenticeships, and internships at civilian employers, ranging from Amazon to federal agencies. The program allows service members to try out new skills and learn whether a workplace's culture is right for them, with the goal of landing full-time employment once the training is done. More than 4,700 employers have signed up to be SkillBridge providers as of this month. Pentagon spokesperson Major Grace Geiger told military.com on August 23rd. It's unclear how many troops have participated in SkillBridge since its inception or how many are ultimately hired by these employers. While the Defense Department said 2022 that more than 50,000 service members had used the program so far, Geiger said the Pentagon can no longer verify those numbers due to shoddy data collection practices. You know, it seems to me that if you had a program where you were sending active duty folks on their last 6 months of their contract, that you'd be tracking that a little bit, you would think. Go figure. The Pentagon hopes to have a clearer idea of the number of SkillBridge participants and hiring figures in fiscal 2026, Geiger added. About 200,000 troops leave active duty each year. The updates follow the Defense Department's decision to move oversight of the SkillBridge program under the purview of the Pentagon personnel boss in 2023 to more closely integrate it with other transition to civilian reintegration programs, Geiger said. That shift spurred multiple reviews that sought to determine whether the initiative is succeeding, culminating in an August memo laying out the changes. Geiger said the updates will improve the Pentagon's ability to check whether SkillBridge is working as intended and report back to Congress, the White House, and other stakeholders. The changes also come after the Navy and Marine Corps limited which troops can take advantage of SkillBridge and for how long, citing a need to prioritize force readiness. And this is always going to be the issue. The way that it's set up is, look, if somebody joins for 4 years and, look, the first 6 months are training and the last 6 months are SkillBridge, you only have somebody for really 3 years. I think that the appropriate way to maintain force readiness, right, because that is obviously, that has got to be the main focus, is look, you have two options at your enlistment. You can opt for standard, which is 4 years, bam, you're out. Or you can do 4.5. Or you could do 6. Or you could do 6.5. You can add a 6-month kind of provision in which the last 6 months you cannot be deployed, and you are allowed to do like a SkillBridge thing, right? So that way it allows the transition piece. You can opt in to this additional 6 months that's really just focused on transitioning, whether it's SkillBridge or other factors, right? You still have accountability. You'll still have to show up to things and do things, but you're accountable to somebody, but you have the ability to really focus on getting maybe a certificate, working on your resume, applying to jobs, doing SkillBridge, those types of things where you're still in the military, but you're kind of on your way out in a way that can be managed a little better than, hey, commander, guess what? Yeah, you're losing that person for 6 months of their contract, and you no longer have them. Go ahead and keep operating, right? It's kind of a weird thing. So it's, I believe that SkillBridge is at the commander's discretion. So, recruiting numbers are low. You have all these other issues. You need to have a ready force, and now you got people wanting to leave for SkillBridge. So that makes it difficult. Moving on, commanders and service members will have better training information, resources, and support to ensure SkillBridge provides the successful transition outcomes intended, while reinforcing our commitment to empower commanders to balance SkillBridge opportunities with operational readiness requirements, Geiger said. Among the most critical updates are provisions that dictate how many SkillBridge workers a company must take on based on its size, and to have as many job openings available as it has SkillBridge workers. The Defense Department wants at least 3/4 of troops who successfully finish the program to be offered a job immediately after leaving military service, according to the memo. The move could help prevent employers from using troops as cheap labor without intending to bring them on full time. But Ishin said the rule may disqualify companies who can't guarantee a full-time job but would still offer vital work experience. Ishin runs the Air Force Quarantine University page on Facebook, a community that began in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic to connect airmen with professional development opportunities while the virus interrupted their career plans. The page has grown to more than 28,000 members and continues to flag information about job prospects, conferences, and programs such as SkillBridge. Hiring is important, Ishan said, but so is giving someone a chance to see whether they enjoy a particular industry and if a company is a right fit. I think what they're doing is using headcount to assess the maturity of a company, and I don't think that those two things always align, he said. The rules could eliminate startups that aren't sure how quickly they can scale up, he added, especially if they're selling to the DoD. They don't want to do something wrong, and they don't want to give a bad experience to the veteran, he said. The memo also tries to ensure troops are joining stable companies by requiring that SkillBridge providers have been in business for at least 3 years. That benchmark doesn't apply to federal, state, and local government employers. That may disqualify startups that could otherwise be a key training ground for service members looking to be a Swiss Army knife on a small staff or to get in on the ground floor of a new business, he said. Your role is to help that startup succeed and change day to day, which I think for a veteran who hasn't had the opportunity to try different types of jobs in their 20s and find that they really like, and find the thing they really liked. It allows you to gain a lot of exposure to a lot of parts of a business and then hopefully settle into something as the company grows, he said. And I agree. That is a well thought out process there, right? With a ability to jump into a startup thing where it's in one moment you're focused on this, then they go, hey, Tap, I see that you're really good at doing this too. Can you slide over and do some of that in addition to some of this? And you're bouncing around and kind of creating your own job. In a sense, you can identify opportunities as well and go, hey, look, I see this thing right here, and I think that if we take this to this level, that'll really expand these other things. Can I focus on that? And you can kind of invent things as you're moving along as well, which is great. Companies can benefit from veterans' perspectives as well, particularly for those vying for military contracts, he added. The rule will limit a huge number of great companies from hosting some of these people, and these people will no longer be able to learn at these companies, he said. The program will also require companies to offer no more than 50% of their training as courses, such as online videos a worker can watch on their own time. The COVID-19 pandemic showed that that type of training is less effective or less efficient and valuable than in-person or live online work, Geiger said. Ishin worries some will misinterpret that guidance and stop offering fully remote positions, which are still allowed and can offer much needed flexibility for non-local workers or those with family commitments. I don't know how the DoD is going to audit these types of things, but there are companies that would say the job that they're doing does not meet these standards, he said. They might self-select and say that we can't host a SkillBridge fellow. Other updates look to limit the financial burden of participating SkillBridge. Those participating in SkillBridge, companies are not allowed to impose training costs on a service member. Therefore, their commander signs off on their participation and can't charge troops for training materials, equipment, uniforms, and other costs of learning the job. Some programs' costs can be covered by a service member's GI Bill benefits, Geiger said. SkillBridge companies must also ensure the workplace is safe and compliant with the labor and safety laws regulations. The changes are now in effect and apply to all new SkillBridge providers whose applications to join the program are currently under review, Geiger said on Thursday. The new rules will also affect all employers that apply within the next window when it opens October 1st, as well as employers renewing their previously approved agreements. From giving troops the chance to prove they're more than their military resume to offering a less daunting off-ramp into civilian life, SkillBridge is a crucial tool in the Pentagon's efforts to support veterans, Ishin said. He hopes DoD officials will revise the new rules to strengthen the program without artificially limiting who can participate. By offering a trial period in a particular workplace or in an unfamiliar industry, SkillBridge can cut down on the job churn many vets experience immediately after leaving uniform, he said. Nearly half of all vets leave their first post-military job within a year, and as many as 80% of veterans leave within 2 years, according to a 2014 study from Career Coaching Service Vet Advisor and the Institute for Veterans and Military Families at Syracuse University. I would argue that there is a massive benefit, Ishin said, of joining SkillBridge. I have to believe there's a decrease in suicidal ideations. There is a decrease in hopelessness because you've got more veterans who have enough money to take care of their family and they feel more confident. That concludes it. I agree. I mean, if you have a job, a good job, you're making good money, you have some sort of self-worth when you leave. Taking off the uniform is a piece of your identity, and it disappears when you leave the military, partially. Just remember that you are a part of a brother and sisterhood, whether you're wearing the uniform or not. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.